Hello, everybody. What's going on? Happy Winning Wednesday. Today, I have a very special surprise for you. And today, you're going to see that surprise come through this door right here. Happy day 2 of 4 days to becoming a lean machine. Let's see who's in the chat with us today. Good morning, Nicole, Michelle, Sarah, Jody, Danielle, Brandy, Melissa, Mary, Sarah. Great to see you guys today. So we're going to have a very special surprise coming at you in T minus 2 minutes. Okay. In the meantime, let's begin with a quick recap from yesterday. I want to know from you guys, what were some of the, biggest takeaways that you had from yesterday? Because today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to go a little bit deeper. Okay. So before the special surprise comes your way, hey! So just so you know, we're going to have special surprises coming at you every single day.
I had to pee really bad, you guys. I know you would understand. So welcome to day 2.
Yes, we are ready to get this party started. And we are starting with a recap. The sickness statistics. Okay, I see you. So let's begin with a quick recap. Okay, so yesterday we talked about gaining awareness with regards to where are we standing. So we talked about the sickness, wellness, fitness curve. Okay. And what are the indicators that put you or just a person, just from a health standpoint on each of them. Right. So in the chat, if you can just, for whoever was here, if you can just drop some of the metrics that we talked about, that, creates sickness for a person, some of the indicators that create wellness, and some of the indicators that create fitness. So, if you're on the sickness side, you're at a 1, wellness side, you're at a 2, fitness side, you are at a 3. And you guys, we shared some pretty interesting stats. 89% of Americans are on the sickness portion.
How many?
Okay. 89% are on the sickness portion. 8.6% of Americans are on the wellness portion, and 2.4% are on the fitness portion. Okay, so what we went over yesterday is identifying where are you currently at, and based on that, whether you're at a 1, a 2, or a 3, what is your next benchmark? Okay, so today,
a 1 or 2 or 3. Explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, so 1, okay, as we show here, is are you on the sickness side, on the sickness, wellness, fitness curve?
So yesterday you talked about person 1, person 2, person 3.
Yeah.
And then there's a person 4.
Yes.
That's not the same thing as these 1, 2, and 3. Or is it?
Person 3 is the person who's on the fitness side, who's looking to push it forward even more.
They are correlated.
Yes.
There is a relation.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Just to be clear for all of you guys, I'm learning along with you, so I'll ask the questions I'm confused about.
Yeah. So some of the indicators where chronic conditions, blood glucose, right? Like anything over 100 puts you on the sickness side. Blood pressure, anything over 120 over 90 puts you at the sickness portion. And then body fat percentage, right? For women, anything over 32% body fat, and for males, anything over 25% body fat puts you on the sickness portion, right? So as the numbers improve, right, we get to shift away from the sickness portion closer to the wellness and the fitness portion. Okay.
I want to deliver a message for anybody who's feeling potentially discouraged because you thought you were doing better than what this scale maybe represents. And to just remind yourself that if you're doing better, period. Like that's what's good. So regardless of where you're at, the truth is all of us have room to improve. And the beauty of you being here right now is that you are working your way through that scale to the bright side. So be excited for yourself about that, because out of the 89% of people who are in the sickness kind of portion of that scale, you are one of the few who are working your way to the 8% and the 2%.
That's right.
That's something to be excited for yourself about.
The fact that you're here just shows where you want to go. So I want to see from you guys in the chat, like, what is the next benchmark that you're pushing?
And I have a little quick exercise for you guys. I learned this from a guy named Ezra Firestone. I want you all to take your hand, put it up in the air like this. Do it. If you're driving, you still have one hand, okay? Good. Look, mono hands. All right, so I want you to turn it around. I want you to reach it up. And I want you to pat yourself on the back.
Oh.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Okay, so remember, you guys, regardless of where you're currently at, do know that both Erin and myself have been in every side of the sickness, wellness, fitness curve. And it is our intention to not only enlighten you, but to help you to get there. So today we're going to go deeper. However, before we go deeper, we want to share with you, how do I show them the next slide? This is what happens.
Leave the technology to me.
Okay. So we want to share with you a formula for success, and you're going to continue seeing this formula for the next 3 days. So please go ahead and write it down.
Formula.
And this came from our very dear mentor, Napoleon Hill. For anybody who knows us, you know that we've mentioned his name so many times. So according to Napoleon Hill, your formula of success is comprised of the degree of your desire. Okay. So yesterday you got aware with regards to where you're at, where you want to go. Okay. The degree of your desire plus the effectiveness of your plan. And lastly, your degree of persistence. Okay. So just to help provoke you some thought, the next thing to consider is, what is our degree of desire? Okay, so whatever your next benchmark is. For example, if you're at a 2, then your next benchmark is a 3. If you're at a 3, then your next benchmark is a 4, right? Whatever your benchmark is, how important is it to you? And when we mean how important it is to you, what do we mean by that is, what price are we willing to pay? Okay. Like, do you have Napoleon Hill talks about it too, a burn the ships type of attitude, in the sense that I am willing to do whatever it takes.
No retreat, no plan B.
Like, regardless of, whatever it takes, like, put me in, coach, I've got this.
Plan B is fulfill plan A.
Or are you living in a conditional state? Because the plan, which is the next part, is, like the strategy, because you can be given the best strategy in the world. However, if you're being conditional, okay, about, pursuing whatever your benchmark is, then you're only going to get so far. Okay. And then your degree of your persistence, to the degree that your desire is intensified, so will you be persistent. Okay. And that's why what we're going to talk about today is the 5 steps to become highly adaptable. Because, when you know what your next benchmark is and you get set up with a plan, and our intention is to provide you with a highly effective plan over the next 3 days and maybe even beyond, so that you can get to your next benchmark, whatever that looks like. For anybody who is at a 3 looking for a 4, there's going to be something very special coming your way tomorrow. For anybody who is at a 2 looking for a 3, there's also something that's going to be very special.
Never been seen
coming
before.
Your way tomorrow.
Hey, now, I want you all to put a square. Okay, hopefully you wrote down the formula, because I wrote. Okay, we're going to put a square around desire. These are the focuses, right? We're going to put a square around plan, and we're going to put a square around persistence. The ingredients list. Okay, I'm writing it down. If I want to make a success cake, I need the ingredients of desire, plan, and persistence. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm gathering.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
So as you guys are doing this, in your notebooks, go ahead and write down on a scale of 1 to 10, like where would you say your level of desire is at right now? Like 10 being burn the ships type of attitude, 1 being only when it's convenient, which is like January 2nd.
Be mindful about the 10. 10 means like I'm all in. I will sell my left arm. I will do
whatever it takes.
People like to throw 10s out there. And then when the push comes to shove, so just be real with yourself.
And then your current degree of persistence, like, and don't think about it in terms of this week. I want you to think about it over the last 90 days. Whatever it is that you had intended to do, even whether you had something that you intended to do, right? Like, how was your follow through? 10 being 100% for the last 90 days, 1 being none at all. I don't think any of you guys would be at a 1, otherwise you wouldn't be here. Or even a 2 or a 3, if we're being honest, right? So I'll tell you, your responsibility is the 1 and a 2. Nobody can change that. Not the 1 and a 2. Is your degree of desire and your degree of persistence. Nobody can change that for you. Okay, that is the only thing that you have full control over. Now, I'll tell you, our responsibility is to provide you with a plan. Okay, and this is our intention over the next 3 days to provide you with a plan, and that's why today we're going to be talking about how to become more highly adaptable, because when your desire is intensified, right? And when you are persistent, the thing that might be lacking for you from taking yourself to the next level is the plan. Yesterday I shared with you the fact that, I've taken myself on a 1-year journey. Today, towards the second half, I'm going to share with you, basically the results that I've gotten from it, so that you can see for yourself, like, the power of the plan.
You took me on that one journey with you. By default, I went on a 1-year journey. It didn't look the same.
And one of the things that we're going to be talking about today actually has to do with that.
The reason I bring it up is because I saw a 3, and it was right after you said if you're a 2 or a 3, you probably wouldn't be here. But I know this person. And so I'm making guesses as to why that person would be a 3. The closer you get to where you feel really good about yourself and really confident about yourself, and like you've overcome a lot of the struggles in this journey, the less I wouldn't say the less motivated you are. I would say the more it takes to get you motivated to like go just like even harder, because you feel great. You've overcome a lot of things. So each person, by the way, there's no right or wrong number. It's just your number, right? You're not a bad person if you have less than a 5. That's just where you're at. But this is also the reason why a lot of people slide back once they start to get results. You start to get comfortable. You start to feel better about yourself. Then you start to get kind of lackadaisy on some of the things that got you to where you were. And then we start falling back into old patterns. This is why I always encourage you guys to stick with us as long as you can. If you do one of our programs and it like ends, I always encourage you, if you're not like past all the sticking points and like cruising on your own for like 3 months, just very consistently, you don't need a lot of hand holding, you're on it, you've got your rhythms, you've got your routines, you've got your rituals, and you're going, don't stop coaching with us. That's why I always say that. It's because you get comfortable. The pain is not so painful, right? When you look in the mirror and you are very unsatisfied with how you feel, what you see, whatever it is, then you have a lot of motivation to do something. But when you start feeling good, you start feeling yourself, you start, oh, I lost notches on my belt. Ooh, my dress is loose, whatever it is. All y'all wear dresses, I know it. Then, we start to get a little like, So anyways, I just want to bring up those points.
Before we move to the next part, what I want you to consider, and please throw it in the chat, would love to see, between desire, persistence, and plan, what was the lowest measurement for you? What was the thing that you would say you'll have the biggest gap on?
I told you.
Yeah.
But there's always a next level, and there's always something that will motivate you to reach that next level.
Yeah.
But we got to figure out what it is.
Plan. Okay. What else? Plan. Persistence. Hey, appreciate your guys' honesty. Okay. So remember, persistence, that is something that only you have full control over. When it comes to plan, that's a completely different conversation.
There's control over desire. No.
Persistence and desire. Yes. Okay. So with regards to persistence and desire, a question that you need to ask yourself, if you know that is a lower measure, is, are you okay with that? Because if you're okay with that, then, fine. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, you get to create in your life whatever it is that you want. However, if you know that you're not okay with that, then the question that you need to ask yourself is, what is currently standing in the way?
This is persistence.
Yeah.
Now, I would say that persistence is determined by your desire. Because if you don't have a strong desire, you won't be persistent. If you have a very strong burning desire, you will be extremely persistent. And it all is going to come down to, that's a matter of, why am I doing it?
Mm-hmm.
That's a matter of, why am I doing it? Why does it matter? Who cares?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
So what?
Yeah.
I want a 6-pack. So what?
Yeah. So when your desire is more intensified, okay, in order for you to be more persistent and to continue to follow through, it is very important that you learn to become more highly adaptable. That is probably one of the biggest lessons that I have had to literally adapt myself to over the last year. And to the degree that we're able to adapt, we're able to create regardless of what things that are happening in our lives that are expected or unexpected. So I want to share with you guys an algorithm that we've created. For anybody who knows us, you know that we love graphs, we love algorithms. Why? Because they make sense. Okay, so when we grew up, everybody, talked about IQ, which means intelligence quotient, right? So it's almost like you are we were told in school that you are a better person when you have a really high IQ.
You're smarter.
The reality is that, there's a new way of living. In order for you to pursue more, to take yourself to the next level, it is not so much the IQ that you need, but rather your level of adaptability. So what AQ stands for is...
I wanted them to guess, but you just gave it away.
So what AQ stands for is your adaptability quotient. So write this down.
Sari is not the suspense queen.
Definitely not. We talked about this multiple times. So to the degree that you're able to adapt, you will be able to create. You should write this down. To the degree that you're able to adapt, you will be able to create. Okay?
Better adaptation equals more creativity. Better adaptation equals more creativity.
So, for anybody who dropped a plan in the chat, there is most likely a big area of opportunity for you with regards to how to become more highly adaptable. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I believe that there's more room for all of us to become more highly adaptable. And at this point in time, you're probably asking, okay, well, how do I become more highly adaptable? Okay. I'll tell you guys something very common that, like tells Aaron and I when, like, what is a person's level of adaptability is a lot of time, like we hear people say, like, I don't have time to work out. Well, with your current level of thinking, you don't have time to work out. But what if we were to become more highly adaptable? How could we create time to work out?
When I think about adaptability, I think, how well do you handle change? Period.
How well do you handle change?
How well do you handle change when it is outside of your control, for one? And how creative are you to create change that puts you in a better situation for what your goals are? Rearranging your schedule. We've had to rearrange our schedule several times for different reasons. When we moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, we had to rearrange our schedule, our meeting times with our teams, all this. So it's like when change happens outside of your control and your ability to lean into and create change so that you can create a better circumstance for yourself.
Yeah. And, this is something that we can always work on. For example, when you become more highly adaptable, you are more responsive when it comes to change, and you can be ahead of the curve, because the reality is that, like, things are always going to happen that are outside of your control. In the chat, I want to know from you guys, like, who are the, like, have you ever said to yourself, let's say when you had a slip up or, before you got on the right path, oh, I will start on a Monday? If so, go ahead and drop a me. Okay. So that is an expectation that is stemmed from some form of rigidness. Okay. We expect that, when it is Monday or when it is January 1st, it is time for us to take better care of ourselves. Okay. So that is a constricted way of thinking. And what we think about, we become. Okay. Listen, totally fair. And I want you to know that, like, Aaron and I have been there too. Right. However, what if it's today's Wednesday, right? And, let's say you had a slip up last night. Would you really want to wait to do the right thing, the next right thing, by Monday, when we have 5 days between now and Monday? Or would you want to, or would it be better for you to do it now? Like, if you were coaching someone through this, in order for them to get better results, would you have them wait that long when the possibility is right now? Drop a yes or a no in the chat. Or would you recommend that, like, hey, like, how about you have a better lunch today?
What's yes and what's no?
Yes is, would you recommend that they start on Monday? Or no is, would you recommend that they start right now? Yes is for Monday, no is right now.
I'm just going to throw an idea out there that Monday or now will be two more productive words that will help us to differentiate.
Okay. So Monday or now? Drop it in the chat. Monday or now?
They're already going. They've already.
ASAP.
You guys are action takers. You're already on the yeses and nos.
Yes. Okay. Do it now. Okay. Start tomorrow morning. LOL. You're funny. Okay. So this is just, I share this with you because this is how our rigidness shows up in our lives, right? Like, we have to wait for the perfect time. No, the perfect time is right now. Okay. So let's get to the mechanics a little bit, because there are 5 steps to becoming more highly adaptable. Do you guys know what those steps are? Drop it in the chat. If you are ready, drop it in the chat. because we are ready to bring it.
I'm trying to keep up with the chat, and you are having them do more chatting.
Yes, because I love to engage with you guys. Now,
I'm doing this engagement, and I can't keep up, guys. My fingers, pray for my finger speed
okay, so
to type
actually we should get back to the
to
slideshow.
respond to you.
So
guys.
let's talk about what is the first step
All right.
to becoming more highly adaptable.
Step one.
The first thing that we need to do, you guys, is we need to change our relationship with time. Okay.
For you guys.
So how do we change our relationship with time? So, if you've ever heard us, coach before, you probably heard us say that, step one with regards to creating change is building more awareness. Now, how do you build more awareness of your time? So now check this out. When it comes to your time, your day, you can, in your day, do one of three things when it comes to time. You can either invest your time, you can either spend your time, or you can either waste your time. I'll repeat this again. You can either invest your time, you can either spend your time, or you can either waste your time. So let's talk about what does each of them mean. Okay, so investing your time means that the time in which it takes you to do something is going to be a portion of time that is going to add more value to your life. This is why when somebody says, I have no time to meal prep, Aaron and Sari, the truth is that it's not that you like, it is a time multiplier. It is a time investment. So what we need to shift is like, what is happening in your day and how can we invest more of your time so that you can get ahead?
You know what I just thought about?
What?
Say the sentence to yourself. I don't have time.
I don't have time.
I don't have time.
I don't have time.
What are you doing right now?
Right now, we are investing our time.
No, you are living in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all.
So I think about this. I mean, you've heard it said like, oh, the wealthiest people in the world have the same amount of time as you do, right? We all have 24 hours in a day. They're like, I don't have time means like I'm dead. You can't not have time. That's all we have. We're just here. It's all time. We are going to help you figure out, how am I utilizing it?
Yeah.
How am I utilizing it? Because we all have it. We all have it.
Yeah. And when it comes to time, investing your time is, investing your time in activities that help you to multiply your time. And the healthier you are, the more time you have. And this is why any health-related activity, think to yourself, what are health-related activities? Eating a clean meal, getting your sleep, working out, prepping your meals. These are time multipliers, okay? And let's talk about what's time spent. Time spent, that is a transitional form of time. You're not, it could either be a waste that you're just unaware of, or perhaps it is transitional between, for example, where you got to go in order for you to invest your time. Okay. So for example, like let's say the time in which it takes us to, set up this live stream for you is time spent. The time in which we're spending with you is time invested, okay? Because it is adding more value to our relationship, and we're on a mission to help you and millions of others to transform their lives through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours. So, we are embodying our mission. However, those 5 minutes where we have to connect things and get set up, it is transitional. Okay, therefore it is time spent. Okay. So, like time spent for you could be driving to the gym. It could be.
Look, Amanda Davis said meal planning and prepping saves me so much time. People are like, I don't have time to meal prep. But when you don't, you are actually using more time to figure out what you're going to eat, go to the store, go through a drive-through. All of those things take actually more time than if you were to just take a couple of hours out of each week and get it done. If you were to add up the 20 minutes it takes to go a little bit out of your way, go through the drive-through, wait in the drive-through line, make your order, pay for your food, wait for your food, then drive back home, all those times add up to be more time than what you would have spent preparing your own food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I want to talk also about opportunity cost. Like, okay, so really quick, everything has a cost. I put it in the chat. Everything has a cost. So when we're talking about investing, like let's think about the money situation. Okay. You invest money, you want a return on your investment, an ROI, which means I get back more than I put in. Okay. So if you're putting in the time, you are wanting to get back more time. More time how? More time in the way of better quality of life or more presence in the years that you're living, more years added to your life, which is literally more time. And the list goes on, but there's also an opportunity cost, meaning what things you are, if you're wasting your time, you are paying for the opportunity that you could have had to do something more productive or beneficial for yourself. So either way, you're paying, right? It's like Sari and I often use the analogy of, you can join, the Raw Transformation Program is like one that most of you know about. So you can pay to join this program or whatever program it is. You can pay to join this program that's going to help you do XYZ and literally give you more time. Time is also money because that's what most people trade it for. And then or if you don't do that, you can continue doing what you're doing, probably be spending more money on groceries that are junk food, not getting closer to your goals, taking away the time that you could have added to your life, potentially paying for medical bills or medications. If you are, on that sickness side, if you're in that one category. So there's a lot of opportunity cost as well. So there's always a cost.
Yeah, the cost of not doing something or the cost of doing something that does not help you to get yourself, closer to your goals. So let's talk about time wasting. I think you guys are probably like, we don't need to spend much time on this.
Let's just spend like 1 second on it.
Yeah. So time wasted means
I think anti-wrinkle creams should be tested on ball sacks first.
Taking your time.
Wrinkles out of those motherfuckers.
That lady's hilarious.
Taking your time, and spending it on things that actually do not add any value to your life. Perhaps lowering value from your life or deterring you from increasing value to your life. So Erin just gave you through her action. She just showed you like what.
And Sari just demonstrated how much she really hates wasting time.
So
she won't even laugh at my joke. That's how serious she is sometimes.
So you guys, the first step with regards to becoming more highly adaptable is changing our relationship with time. And how we build awareness, that is one of the 3 ways in which we change our relationship with time, is first we need to identify, okay, throughout most of my day, like, is my day mostly on the time invested bucket, the time spent bucket, or the time wasted bucket? Okay. And ideally, what you want to do is you want to shift your time in a way where there is less time wasted and more time invested. Okay. For example, this video right now is a time investment because it takes time for you to watch it. However, the intention of that is to add value to your life and get you ahead with your goals. And by the way, I just want to say thank you so much for investing your valuable time with us, because we know it's precious. You guys, it is the most precious resource that we have. Okay, so that is step one with regards to becoming more aware. So I'd love to know from you guys, like, which bucket is mostly filled for you, the invested one, the spent one, or the wasted one? Okay, it's just about gaining clarity, right? Because we can't change what we don't know. And then the other thing is you want to apply the focus funnel. The more focused you are, the more productive you are. Okay, so the focus funnel is a means to you living a bigger portion of your life in the time invested portion. For example, applying the focus funnel, some examples are automating, delegating, executing on what matters, and delaying what doesn't. Okay, so for example, if you know that your time is limited, you can perhaps delegate your grocery shopping to Instacart, so that you can, instead of you driving to the grocery store, being at the grocery store, coming back from the grocery store, which, depending on where you live, can take you anywhere from a 1.5 hour trip to a maybe 3 or 4 hour trip. Perhaps, you can delegate it to Instacart, where they deliver it to your door. Okay. Or, let's talk about automation. Let's say you get a monthly, we all get our monthly bills for our cell phones, for, our subscriptions, all these things, rather than it being sent to you, what if you were to automate it? So, on a monthly basis, you don't have to go, okay, let me go to that account, like 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Like, let's say if you do that for 10 things in a month, like that's an entire hour. Like, where could that time, depending on wherever you're at in the, curve and what your day looks like, perhaps there's a better way to utilize our time. Okay. There also, just so you guys know, there are other ways we can automate and delegate. I'm just using very basic examples that I believe a lot of us can relate to, right? And then execute on what matters. Okay, this is the difference between importance versus, like putting out fires. Okay, so let's say if you're doing things that, are not significant for your life, for your health, and as a matter of fact, they're not even important, then perhaps there's something that we need to look at. And then delaying what doesn't matter. Like, for example, like politics and the media, right? Like, perhaps giving an opinion about that. Like, does it really matter? Does it change what this person or that person is going to do? In the case that it doesn't, okay, well, maybe it's a better use of our time to delay that. Okay, so all that to say is, once you become more aware, how do you, right, have your wasted time bucket less filled and your productive time and your invested time more filled? Okay, and then lastly, with regards to that, is shifting from busyness to productivity, and that as a byproduct will increase our level of focus, because to the degree that you're able to be more focused, you're going to be able to be more persistent, which means that it will help you to get better results. Okay, so the first thing that we do in order to become more highly adaptable is we shift our relationship with time. I'll tell you guys, at the beginning of this 1-year journey, which I decided to take myself on because I've been at a really good spot, right? However, I'm like, dude, like there's a next level for you. I just knew it. And at first, when it came to time, I didn't realize how much more productive I could be. Okay. by implementing, what we just shared with you. And also, I was very rigid. Like, for example, if, something didn't happen at this time, then I felt like it, wasn't the right time to do that. Like, can any of you guys relate to that? Like, if it's not the perfect time, then maybe it's not the right time to do that. Like, no longer, at that point did I say, oh, like, I will restart on Monday, because I've been consistent for 10 years. So like that has not been an issue, but it's with regards to higher level things. And we don't realize actually how much that comes in the way of our productivity from whatever our next level is in life. Yes. Okay, good. I'm so happy to hear that. So what we're going to be talking about next, you guys, is the next steps beyond that. Okay, and we're just going to go through them one by one. So step number 2 is your definiteness of purpose. You become more adaptable to the degree that you're definite on your purpose. And I will tell you why. Because change is difficult. Okay. And when there is either no meaning, or when there is, like lesser meaning for something, why would we get outside of our comfort zone? Remember, you guys, we are here today because we are the byproduct of literally millions of years of evolution. Okay. And when it comes to our evolution, like our species has gone through generation by generation because we are wired in our brain for 3 things: for nourishment, for shelter, and for procreation. So when there is a change that is difficult, that, in our primal brain perhaps does not feel really good in that moment with regards to those 3 basic needs, then why should we even do that if we don't have a definiteness of purpose? Like, why should you put yourself through an uncomfortable situation, when it doesn't have to do with, like you seeking shelter? Or what if that uncomfortable situation will mean compromised shelter for you? This is why, you see very few people continuously get ahead in life, because change is difficult. And we are wired in a way where we want things to be constant, just like our dogs. Okay. Now, you're here today because you know that you want to take yourself to the next level, whether it's from a 1 or a 2, or a 2 to a 3, or from a 3 to a 4, whatever it may be. I'll tell you that regardless of wherever it is that you're at, the person who lives at a level 2 is not the same person who lives at a level 1. And the person who lives at a level 3 is not the same person who lives at a level 2. And to get yourself ahead would mean that you're gonna, operate in a different way. And different is not necessarily comfortable, because different is new. And new means change. And change means uncomfortable. Okay. So I share this with you because when there is a connection to, okay, I'm understanding at this point, like I am choosing to go from, let's say, a 2 or a 3 because it will magnify my life in X, Y, and Z. It will help me to be more productive in ABC, right? Like, I can't answer these things for you because we all have a definiteness of purpose. Okay. Like, for example, like my definiteness of purpose is to, like embody our mission and to, like create what I need to create, to transform the lives of millions through the same movement, nutrition, and lifestyle habits that have transformed ours, even if I don't have the answer in the moment. or even if I don't know something, right? And to also, like live to the day where I can see that, impact, right? So, that's why when things are inconvenient or uncomfortable, I share with you guys, I don't know if you noticed, but we're in a different space today. So
Ta-da.
the reason why we're in a different space today is because if you've been listening to our pocket coachings, you probably know that we're currently in the middle of a move. So Friday, we left our previous home, and on Sunday, we're moving to the new house. Now, this week, we're staying at an Airbnb. And, at the Airbnb we're staying at, there's going to be no water today. And also there were certain conditions that, like for this live stream that we're doing with you guys today, like we are committed, right? So because we're attached to our definiteness of purpose, we make decisions based on that. Even if our drive this morning should have been what, like 12 minutes long?
Should have been how long it was.
Yeah. However,
It could have taken less time.
It could have taken less time. We ended up,
but it wasn't going to.
Yeah, there was a lot of traffic, right? So it wasn't convenient. However, when something matters to us, we do whatever it takes.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
I feel like I need to ask for permission. Because there's a lot of valuable things that I have to say. I believe that,
You do.
Even if you guys don't. So,
you do have a lot of valuable things to say. Drop an E for Aaron.
Hey, you guys, I want to ask a question. My feelings really are not hurt when Sarit doesn't laugh at my jokes, but I want to know from you guys. If there was no Aaron on these calls, like, would it be the same with my jokes? Hold on, with my jokes, with my jokes, you guys, that TikTok video was hilarious. Okay. So anyways, something that I was, I put a book in the chat too, by the way. There's a great book by Rory Vaden called Procrastinate on Purpose. And he goes through the different, like, when do you automate something? When do you completely get rid of something? When do you delegate something to somebody else? It's a really great book. And then what else did I say, guys? Oh, the flexibility. Like, how do you stay consistent, while being so rigid? I put in the chat, don't be a 2x4, don't be a spaghetti noodle. It's called flexibility, right? If you bend too much, you break. And if you don't bend at all, you leave no room for opportunities for yourself or room to pivot. So it's about finding the harmony that works the best for your lifestyle, for your goals, for your preferences, for your family, for your schedule, for how you are living your life and creating your life. And the beauty is that you get to create whatever you want out of it. And so, what was the last thing that you were just talking about?
Definiteness of purpose. The traffic.
Oh yeah, you're being really dramatic. We don't not have water all day. One of the residents of the place that we're renting, like an apartment, or I don't know if it's an apartment, kind of. We're renting this place, and one of the residents was doing some kind of repair in their house that like shut down all of the water on Sunday. For some of you guys that figured that, or that heard about that on our story or wherever you put it, pocket coaching. And so we woke up Sunday, we didn't have any water. That was not expected. And then last night we had a note on the door that was like, hey, the water might be shut off on this day, from this time to this time, because one of the residents busted the water situation.
And we think it's the person who is
because
right
they were banging on they were like, bang, 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 scrape, 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 scrape. Like, what are they trying to, I think they are trying to break out of prison with a shank that they made out of a metal lunch tray from the cafeteria. Is what it sounded like. Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. I also just dropped a link for anybody who's not currently in our pocket coaching. If you just want to stay up in the loop, text, put me in, coach, to the number, and you'll be able to, Sunday's pocket coaching already went out, but just with regards to more value, things that we can teach you more on, and just like, inspirations. We, a lot of times, like, after a workout, when, we have like aha moment, and we're like, we just want to share it, we'll send out a pocket coaching, things like that. So if you're not already in it, highly recommend that you join it. It's super fun.
I'm actually really excited we're here. You guys, the ocean is right there. It's pretty.
I
freaking
actually
cool.
don't think it's the ocean. I think it's the bay, just so you know.
Oh, it is. It's the Tampa Bay.
Yeah, but water is water. Water is water.
It's inspiring, and there's some big buildings.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Cool. Tampa
Okay.
Bay. Silly.
So you shift your relationship with time, okay, and you consider your definiteness of purpose, because to the degree that you're living on purpose, you will create what matters. Okay. The next thing is shifting your perspective. So, what we just talked about is the fact that change is uncomfortable. And in order for you to take yourself to the next level, whatever that looks like, it will be uncomfortable to some degree. Yes, the fitness industry will tell you easy, like no sweat, nothing, workout, and get in the best shape of your life. It's going to take blood, sweat, and tears. But the question that we need to ask is, what is a better way so that I can become more productive? Okay, so now, considering the fact that we're aware of the fact that change is not comfortable, what we need to consider is shifting our perspective, because when we go through an uncomfortable situation, if we are not aware of it, we could be victims to suffering, when the truth is that suffering is a choice. So the shift in perspective is, rather than suffering, okay, embracing the challenge. Embrace the challenge.
Did anybody ever wonder what the tattoo on my shin says?
What does it say? Suffering, listen.
This is the definition of suffering, by the way. The state of undergoing pain, distress, or hardship.
I don't fully agree with it based on what Sadhguru says.
I think that there's maybe levels, because
Sure.
Pain is physiological. I punch Sarit. I would never do that, guys.
She never does that.
I would never do that. Playing soccer and you get kicked in the shin, right between your knee and when the shin guard stops. Bang! That's pain. It hurts. Ouch. Physiological. It's a sensory, like, reminder, I'm alive. And it's designed to, like, protect. If you feel pain, it's an indicator that something is off. Something is not right. We're not supposed to be in pain. Now, suffering is internal. When you are suffering, your perspective is focused on the pain, not on the possibility.
Let's go.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you should. Oof. As it was coming out of my mouth, I was oofing it. Okay, so hold on. Let me say it again. The pain is physiological, and it's just an indicator that something's off. Something needs to be changed so that you don't feel the pain. Suffering is internal, and it's the mindset that's focused on what the pain is versus what the potential or the opportunity or the possibilities are. Important to note.
Just because something is painful or difficult or hard or challenging does not mean that you have to suffer. Suffering is a choice. Now,
it's the perspective. Your perspective is your choice.
Right. A lot of times when we suffer, we are not even realizing that we are in control of that. Okay. So suffering is a default form of living. Of course, you get kicked in the shin, it hurts for everybody. Okay. Now, whether you choose to let it bring down your spirit, your beingness, like how you operate throughout the day, that's completely up to you. And when we are not aware of that, a lot of time we're in our default mode. We are suffering. This is why most people give up when things become challenging.
This is so true.
Because they suffer. No, just because it's difficult doesn't mean that you have to suffer. You can focus on the possibility, or you can focus on, like how this physical sensation is bringing you down. It is bringing you down only when you choose to let it bring you down. And just because something is uncomfortable doesn't mean that you suffer. Okay. And I share this with you because we talked about persistence. In order for you to continue to persist, like we have to shift our relationship with challenges and with discomfort, because otherwise we're going to suffer. And this is why you see most people quitting on themselves, like on a difficult relationship, on, life in general, right? Like, for example, like 89% of Americans, right, are on like the sickness curve. That did not happen by accident, right? So whatever condition they're going through, right? Like, let's say if there is a possibility for them and they're choosing not to do it because it is, hard, or because it is difficult, then it's a choice to suffer. You know what I mean? So it's all a choice, and our perspective is going to determine how we are going to transition and ultimately how far we'll go. Because the higher you want to achieve, like the more it's going to take. Like, to take you from a 3 to a 4 will take you more than it will take you to go from a 1 to a 2. It's a completely different game. So step number 4 is the environment. Like we're actually talking about this on Sunday, like this thing that we're going to share with you tomorrow, right? Will be very difficult to execute in an environment that is not aligned to some degree. Because, like when you're being tested for your definiteness of purpose and for your desire to take yourself to the next level, if there is resistance in your life, it is going to be very difficult. So, like your environment shapes how much either resistance we have in our lives or how much assistance we have in our lives. I don't think we've ever said that before.
No, and that's a matter of humility.
Yeah.
Can I ask? It's a matter of humility. Can I ask? And the perspective that wanting help doesn't make you lesser than or weak or incapable.
Yeah. So, like the more aligned our environment is, the more elevated our environment is, the less points of resistance we have. Like I'll share with you, for example, this week, the physical environment that we're in, right? Like we are embracing the challenge because we have that attitude.
I really find it exciting.
Yeah,
it keeps you on your toes.
Because you have that attitude and you're highly adaptable. Okay. Now I'll tell you, the environment that we're in this week is not an elevated environment for me to take myself to the next level.
I feel like this is
totally okay.
We'll be here all week, people.
So your environment, right, like either adds more points of resistance or takes away less points of resistance, and your environment is made up of your perspective and what's between your ears. Like you tell yourself, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. Guess what? It is going to be hard. I think we just had that conversation about tired, right? Like yesterday, you tell yourself you're tired, you're going to feel tired.
Yeah. But it's the very distinct difference between I am and what you follow that with versus I am feeling or I am experiencing.
Yeah.
Right? Like I am suffering. You are making a declaration that you embody that thing.
Yeah.
Versus I'm experiencing pain. I'm experiencing fatigue.
Yeah.
I'm feeling tired.
Yeah.
Right? So one is a declaration of self, which your subconscious will then align with. It sounds woo as fuck, but it is very much true. I've experienced it in my own life and I watch it happen. I watch it happen everywhere.
Yeah.
The people who are the angriest, most frustrated, like depressed people are also typically those that don't understand the power of their language.
That's right.
That's simply it. But we're here to help bring awareness to.
And most of the time it is an environmental thing. Like, like what home did they, were they brought up in? What conversations did they hear? We don't realize how our environment shapes our lives. So I'll tell you, like, for example, an elevated environment is your body. Like when you become healthier, you are elevating your environment. And, like what we fail to realize a lot of times is that we're the creators of our environment. So our environment consists of, like what is within us, right? Like our thoughts, our body, right? The higher you want to go, the healthier you should be, because your body is your energy unit. And when you are operating at a compromised state, it is going to leak into other modes of operations in your life. Okay. And then, like your physical environment. Like, for example, our physical environment currently is compromised, which is why we're here, because we needed an environment that, is more elevated so that we could perform at the way that we need to in order to pursue our definiteness of purpose today. You see what I mean? And then lastly, like who is around us? Like, are they adding more points of resistance? Or are they, maybe even doing the same thing as you are, which is maybe you and your spouse are watching this right now. If so, like shout out to your spouse. That's amazing. I believe from my own experience that the higher you want to achieve, the more people you need in your life who are in the boat with you, rowing with you, and hopefully rowing with you at the same intensity in the same direction. Okay. It allows you to get to whatever your next benchmark is faster. And that's why, like, I'm immensely grateful for Aaron in so many ways, right? Because there is alignment.
Because of my jokes.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. And, the reason why you guys are probably here right now is because, there is, you're probably experiencing alignment with wherever it is that you want to go next in life. And we're grateful for that.
Something we're saying is touching you in a way that is impactful and meaningful.
Yeah.
By the way, you know what I realized too? Guys, this is actually our new business address office.
Ooh, fancy.
We're just like using the space for today.
Yeah.
And tomorrow and Friday. And I'll tell you one of the major reasons why.
What? Why what?
For the videos we're recording.
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah.
Changes. I love that you guys are on this journey with us, or that we're on this journey with you, or vice versa. Whatever's happening. You guys, just a little side note tangent, valuable. There's a lot of really cool new things coming to the ES Army, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm very excited that all of you are here. There's 55 people here. Yesterday it was actually, well, it was a little bit more. We had more like a few minutes ago, but we're 6 minutes past what we said we would go till. And the fact that you all are showing back up is incredible. Okay, let's wrap this up and let's let these peeps get to their day.
So the last thing is tracking your follow through. Okay. You become more highly adaptable where rather than, tracking the outcome of things, you track the process of doing it. And I'll tell you why, because that is one of the only things that you have full control over. Okay. And when you take responsibility for that, then you also become more highly adaptable. Okay. Because, like, what if there is something that you get to do that is, like going to help you to take yourself to the next benchmark? However, something came up and then it became inconvenient. Then when you track how you've shown up and there's accountability around that, then guess what? You end up becoming more persistent. Okay. So I want to share with you guys next.
So this is where we were. This is what we went over to recap. Step 2, having definiteness of purpose. Why? What is the purpose? What is the reason? Who cares? What's it all for? Step 3, having a perspective, choosing a perspective that is beneficial to you. The example of suffering versus embracing the challenges. Step 4, elevating your environment, not only external environment, like the people around you or the places that you're in, but also your internal environment, which has to do with step 3, your perspective. And step 5, tracking your follow through. So making it measurable.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys know that I've been on this 1-year journey and
Can I switch it?
Yeah. And I want to, just share with you guys, having implemented what we talked about today by becoming more highly adaptable.
There you go.
Again, getting from 3 to a 4 is a constant, like pursuit. Like notice the shifts that happened as a byproduct, right? So on a daily basis, I measured the process and how persistent I was showing up as, with this plan. Hint, maybe tomorrow we will share with you what this plan is. However, what changed as a byproduct of me becoming more highly adaptable is my life on a professional fitness and body composition level. Like we, shared with regards to definiteness of purpose, there was a 220% increase in our impact. That is due to like increased productivity due to becoming more highly adaptable and less rigid. Yeah. Like discipline requires you to be more highly adaptable, right? Because if you think that it should be one way and you end up not doing the thing that you should do, then guess what? You're going to be less persistent because you're less disciplined. And then from a fitness standpoint, prior to this, from a pull-up standpoint, my best was 43 pull-ups, and I was able to push it to 52.
When did you do that test?
Well, it was in one of the workouts that we had throughout this year. When you PR after like doing
what does
fitness,
PR stand for?
PR stands for personal record. When you hit a record after you've been doing this fitness thing for a long time, and it's a PR because you know your numbers.
Okay, I know everybody's looking ahead. You weigh 3 pounds more, but your body fat percentage is 2% less.
Right, and that actually goes to show from what we talked about yesterday. So yes, I am heavier now.
Beefcake.
However, photos don't lie. So it's all about what are you creating from a body composition standpoint. And I share this with you because as you can see here, even at the beginning, I was in a good spot, there were
a 3.
Right. I was totally a 3. Right. However, I just knew that there were higher possibilities. Okay. So
who wants that?
So remember, what we talked about today is becoming more highly adaptable. And what I showed you today is how by becoming more adaptable, that has transformed me. Like we said, definitely stick around for tomorrow, because we're going to be sharing with you cool things that will help you to become more highly adaptable beyond these 4 days. In the meantime, what we're going to do next is we want to kind of like put this together and give you some food for thought, so that you can like implement most of what we talked about today on a micro level, so that you can start to create a shift.
What did I just do?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't know
that was
what I
weird.
just did. So
I pulled a Sarit.
what you're going to create today is, regardless of where you're at, movement, nutrition, regeneration, growth, and attitude are huge components with regards to moving the needle forward. So by doing some movements today, measure yourself with a 1. By eating clean today, 2, whatever clean looks like for you. Clean looks very different for everybody. However, do your best. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking more about nutrition and getting clear around that. So in the case that you did that, then give yourself a 1 for that. Let's say you hydrated enough to whatever component to hydrate as of right now, and you got enough sleep, then give yourself a 1. Did you learn something new today? Maybe it was on this video. If so, okay, score yourself a 1. And did you have a good attitude no matter what challenges came your way today? Then you score yourself a 1. And for doing all of that, coming into tomorrow, we're going to check in and say, hey, like, what's your score for yesterday? Like, how intimate were you with how you've been showing up? You see, the more intimate we are with how we show up, the more likely we are to get better results, because what you measure grows. And so many times what we measure is the byproduct rather than the process. The byproduct is not something that you have full control over. The process is what you have full control over, because the process involves your thoughts and your actions. And that is literally the only thing that you have full control over in life. And then what you think about and what you do, like we said, is the only thing you have control over. And this is why you want to measure the process. So we want to give you this exercise. For me?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you feel like you are a 4 now?
This is such a good question. I believe, you guys, that, having identified from a health standpoint where we're at, I believe that we get to choose what are 4s and what are 5s.
Sarit created a 5 by becoming a 4, because now she knows there's another level.
Yeah.
And again, the body doesn't change dramatically after a certain point.
Right.
But there are a lot of changes that happen you saw over 10 more pull-ups unbroken, right?
Mm-hmm.
11.
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys, when I had my breast surgery, however long ago?
October, so 4 months ago.
4 months ago. Wow. Feels like it was a long time ago. 4 months ago, I was on the machine with I don't know, they had things on me, and the machine kept screaming at me because my heart rate was so low that it's like the machine is like, this person is dead. Somebody, it was like, beep, beep, beep. It's like, somebody come help. Your patient's dead. And it's just because my heart is so strong that each contraction, it pumps enough blood through my body to not have to contract a lot of times. My arteries are strong enough to handle the force of the blood pumping out of my heart. Like, all of these things, talk about longevity, right? So there's a lot more benefit to just, we all want to look sexy naked. Come on. Nah. Like, when you look in the mirror, Brooke, remember, you want to Hey, girl. Dang. Give a little booty flex. You know, but at the same time, when you get to Sarit's point, it's like, sure, there's maybe little things that could happen. Your muscles could get bigger, you could get stronger, but there's so many other factors. There's always another level.
There's always another level, and that's what brings you here today. It's not about where you're at, it's about where you're going. And are you showing up in a way that is in alignment with where you're going? So, you know, like when you know where you're going, and that was the purpose of yesterday, then, you know, what we talk about next is your plan, your persistence, and also, you know, like how you're, hold on. We said your plan, your persistence, and your desire. Okay. So when you take yourself through these levels, your desire, I believe, I can only speak from my own experience, continues to intensify. Okay. And you do not get this far without an extremely strong desire. Okay. And this is extreme because this is not the norm. Now, you know that you're not normal because, like Dr. Furman said, you know, like the norm is overweight. The norm is on the sickness curve. And the way that I see it is that's not what America is about. That's not what life is about. But I don't get to choose how others live their lives. However, for anybody who does want to be better, you know, I get to choose how I show up so that I can help you to show up, because I myself can only do so much. Erin herself can only do so much. Like Erin said, we only have 24 hours in the day, right? However, you know, like let's say you become healthier, you become fitter, that is going to start transforming to your environment.
I'm going to backtrack for a half a second because you just said something I think is very valuable to understand, which is we only have 24 hours in a day. I was like, actually, no, we don't.
Right.
No, we don't. Because we have coaches.
Right.
We are buying time.
Yeah.
We are paying them to do the things that we would have otherwise been doing.
We have systems.
So we are actually not working however many hours we work, add that times 8 more people. So that's how many hours we're working in a day.
And that's why you have to shift, you know, your perspective with time.
And that's an investment. And there is a return on that investment. You all get to get helped in the inner circle, in the raw, in the wherever, who's ever else, because we have made that investment.
Yeah.
Same thing with Instacart. Same thing with the laundry app. You guys know there's a laundry app?
So it's all about your desire, right? And the plan is your systems, right? Because the effectiveness of your systems is going to take yourself to the next level. So tomorrow, we're going to take this to the next level.
We have more slides?
Yeah, we're just gonna wrap this up by sharing with you guys what we have coming up for you. So tomorrow we're gonna start gearing into nutrition and what are the 5 elements with regards to nutrition in order for you to achieve a peak physique. Mm-hmm. And then we're gonna wrap things up on Friday by talking about the 5 habits that you need to develop in order to achieve a peak physique. And as we wrap this up today, remember, it is our responsibility to provide you with the plan, because the plan is your systems. As one of our mentors say, you know, your productivity is a byproduct of your systems. So we want to help you to create better systems. However, something that you should ponder on today is, you know, like your current level of desire and what your persistence has been like. Okay. And where do you truly want to go? Because ultimately, it is our own personal responsibility to be responsible for our lives and for our health and for our bodies. And the reason why, this country is like, on highly saturated on the sickness curve is because as human beings, we have given our own personal responsibility to take care of ourselves and to pursue our health to machines and to, like chemical solutions, right? And that's why we're standing here. We all have the power. It's just a matter of what are we relying on? Like you got high blood pressure. Are you gonna, improve your diet? Are you gonna, like take better care of yourself? Or are you gonna just take high blood pressure medication and hope it'll be okay? Like, sure, whatever the doctor prescribes, you take it. However, know that these things are not the solution. Okay, the solution is how you get to show up. And it is our responsibility to provide you with a plan so that when you know that your desire is becoming more intensified and you want to improve your persistence, then we want to provide you the vehicles that will help you to take there. And by the way, we're going to be talking about those vehicles tomorrow. So make sure you stick around for that. Okay, you guys. That being said, is there anything else that you want to share?
Guys, I'm trying to get you the link.
For the laundry service?
Yeah.
Yes, you guys definitely need a laundry fairy. It's amazing.
A laundry fairy. Where is the link? You see what's happening? Here it is.
Hey, you guys, I want to know from you while Erin is dropping it in the chat. Can you drop a V if you're gaining value from these conversations? From this event so far, are you gaining value from this?
There you go. Okay, cool, guys.
Would love to know. Tons of V. Good. Tons of V. Hey, that's going to be our secret code word.
I'm 12.
Wait. Hey, you know what a V and a V makes?
2 V's.
2 V's or a W. And you know what day it is today?
Winning Wednesday. All right, you guys, have an amazing day. We will see you tomorrow. I know you're committed. We have 5 things we're learning about something we need to do tomorrow. You heard what Sarit said.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll
Much
see you
love,
guys tomorrow.
everybody.
Have a great day.